Let everybody get in on the broadcast here.
Okay.
All right, there we go. We're up and going here on the Renee Adams Show. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. I have my guest, Cathys Bowersox. But first, let me just get started the right way here because I'm over here like fidgeting with everything. But hello and welcome to the Renee Adams Show and Empowerment Week. Just a few housekeeping things before we get started. Please like, share, and comment on this broadcast. And if you are new to my page, please follow my page. And if you would like to be a guest, please inbox me so we can chat. And today I have my guest again, Cathys Bowersox. Cathys is a strategic business and leadership advisor and holds licenses as a licensed professional, business coach, and a mastermind executive coach, and owns Quantum Leap Success Coaching. She also owns Network and Action Business Force, a networking group for small business owners. She is passionate about and is known for helping entrepreneurs create in all aspects of their businesses and lives. She advises and coaches entrepreneurs through their company growth by helping them improve cash flow, grow their business and profits, implement business systems, and I'm sorry, not business systems, but just implement systems and processes that allow them to run their business more efficiently and profitably and run their business instead of their business running. And just a note, she has coached companies such as Dow Chemicals, Sears, Reliant Energy, Siemens, and BP, just to name a few. So welcome to the show, my guest, Cathys Bowersox. Welcome.
Hi, Renee. Thank you for such a warm welcome and such a great introduction. I really appreciate that. It's great to be here.
I'm happy that you are here too. It's so nice to be able to have a woman to talk about, not just a woman, but just, someone here on the show to talk about, the businesses and coaching those businesses to further their success when they can't seem to get it together. And just to learn more tips and tricks from someone like you who have coached such companies as I named. So I definitely feel like you're the gal to
Oh, well, thank you.
to be on and talk about this. So if you could just tell us more, Cathys, about Quantum Leap Success and how you got started with that.
Well, I started actually as a psychotherapist and was working for a career coaching company for a number of years, always with the plan to become an entrepreneur myself.
Mhm.
And so after I did that for a few years, I branched out and started my own therapy and career coaching business. And some of my former clients were coming to me because they had gotten leadership positions and they wanted executive coaching, or they had started new businesses after they had been laid off and they wanted business coaching. So I didn't feel I was quite prepared for that. So I went and got training and licenses in both types of coaching so I could add that. And so I did that along with the psychotherapy for a number of years, but now I'm only doing the business coaching and some executive coaching.
So how did the big companies come about? I mean, these are some pretty big companies like, why do they reach out to you? What is it about Cathys Bowersox that they feel we need her to come in and do some coaching with us?
Well, I think it is the way that I connect with my clients because, for example, Centerpoint Energy, which was my biggest client that I worked with, one of my former clients who had been laid off and I coached him through his career transition actually wanted executive coaching with me and he wanted them to pay for it. So he referred me in there. And then another one of my colleagues who was doing organizational development with them, working for Gary Whitlock, the CFO at the time, they had an executive that they needed some coaching for. And then he recommended me as well. So,
Okay. So recommendations.
it's networking and the people that I know and the good work that I've done with my clients. And so getting recommended in there, working for the CFO, I ended up coaching multiple executives in the finance silo for Centerpoint. It was a lot of fun.
That's, yeah, great. And so what are some of the things that you go in and coach with your clients? Like some of the, I guess, virtuals, like what are some of those that you go in and teach or train or coach with your clients?
So a lot of my coaching is values-based. I think it's really important for us as individuals, as executives and leaders, and as business owners and leaders of our companies. We're all leaders in our own lives, whether we're leading ourselves, whether we're leading our families, whether we're leading our businesses. So I think it's really important for us to know what our vision is, to know what our values are, to have a purpose or a mission that is bigger than making money. And the most successful companies, whether it's GE with Jack Welch at the helm, or whether it's a small business owner, that company is a reflection of who is at the top. So one of the first things we have to look at is their leadership. And what are they doing well? Where do they have some challenges that we may be able to address to help them lead themselves and their businesses and their teams better, to make things run more efficiently and profitably.
Great. That was very well said. And I feel like a lot of people can understand that, like what you just said, like just in a nutshell. It was just so much that you said right there that I feel that people will get and understand. And one of the questions that I have for you is like, what do you feel some of the fears right now business owners are having because of the pandemic that we're in?
Well, I think fears have shifted quite a bit from the normal business climate. Normally, when a business owner comes to me for coaching or consulting and guidance, the top three things that I hear from them that they're challenged with are time, that's the number one. I hear a lot of times I clock in, but I never clock out. Or even when I'm home with my family, I can't be fully present because I have a million things going through my head about what I should be doing in the business, or that client that I forgot to call back this afternoon, those kinds of things. So they feel like they can't be fully present with their families. In the current situation with everybody working from home, that's probably not quite as much of an issue right now. The other two things that I hear the most are money and people. So having cash flow and keeping good people, growing their people, not losing their people. Retention is a really important thing. Some businesses have very high turnover, and that's very expensive.
Absolutely.
But I think right now, the concerns have shifted quite a bit from some of those things to mostly money. And am I going to have a business when this is all over?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I think that's the biggest fear. That's the biggest concern right now. And I think mindset at this point in time with what's going on in the world is really important.
Do you think that some of the businesses right now are taking the right actions to help them keep afloat right now? Or if they're not, like what kind of things can they be doing to keep themselves afloat right now?
So I think that the small business owners and even the large companies too are doing everything that they can think of to try to help their businesses, help the business survive, to try to help their employees so that they can keep them on staff. I've known some companies that have furloughed some employees.
Yes.
They're not laying them off. They're saying just for right now until business comes back, we're going to have to let you go for a time period. Right. I know other companies that are putting some of their employees on half time so they can still keep them, help them, help their families, but also help the business. It's a balancing act right now between keeping the business alive and doing what they can for their employees to help them in this time of need as well.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really good that we took the action that we did because it really involved some preparedness in order to be able to have people working from home and to put things in order the way that they have, which I feel like they, like you said, did a good. They're doing a great job. I just, wanted maybe some tips and advice, as you already have thrown out there, of ways that they can stay afloat. And I do believe, the work at home and some of the other things that you
Mhm.
mentioned are great ways to stay afloat. Because without those prepared kind of ideas and tips and things like that, it would not have happened as quickly as it has. And I do feel like that's great. Now, one of the things that you have going is your 12 pillars.
Yes.
And I think that it is an amazing time to kind of talk about those 12 pillars in the time of crisis that we're in with the business owners and things like that. So, which one do you want to start with first?
Well, I think what I want to do is address all of them very
Okay.
briefly. I was going to, originally when we set this up, we weren't in this crisis, and I was just going to
Right.
generally
That's
talk about
right.
each of them. But I think what I'd like to do instead is kind of very briefly go over them and then talk about the ones that are most important for business owners to be thinking about right now so they can work on getting through what's happening today and then start getting prepared for the opportunities that will come so they can really relaunch again as soon as this lockdown is over, because
Absolutely.
there are some things that they can be doing today to prepare.
Right. Yeah. So
Okay.
let's get started with that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up a slide and share my screen so everybody
Okay.
can see
Yay.
what those pillars are.
Okay.
And I had a
Fantastic.
couple other things that I was going to show, but I think I'm going to skip past those and just jump to the pillars. Okay, so this is the basic business model. And basically, you've got to look at all of these different things. I'm going to talk about this real briefly, but these are the things that you work on to increase your revenue. And I'll just go through this very, very quickly. But if you create a 10% increase in each of these arenas and a 10% decrease in your fixed costs, it can turn into a 69% increase in net profit in your business. So these are some of the things that the business owners need to be looking at to go across all of the different pillars of success in a business. So these are the things that I work on with the business owners that I work with. So these are the 12 pillars. The first few are really about how the business owner has constructed the business as far as what the culture of that company is.
Awesome.
So these are all the things that we look at when I work with a business owner. I have an assessment that I use called a business effectiveness evaluation. And it's an assessment that the business owner goes through themselves. There are a number of questions around each of these different pillars that they answer how they're doing on each of these different elements, and they get a report and a report card, which we're all familiar with. We all identified whether we were whether we were an A student, a B student, a C student in school. So it's a great way to help business owners understand where they stand in their business. So, leadership is how are you running the business? What is your company's vision? What is your company's values? What is the purpose and mission of your business aside from being in the business that you're in? So, for example, for me, I am in the business of business coaching, advising, and consulting. But my purpose is to help business owners transform their businesses and their lives. That's why I'm in business.
Mm-hmm.
So you need something that's beyond about making money. Mindset, a lot of especially new business owners struggle with having an entrepreneur versus an employee mindset.
Mhm.
And they have challenges with working on the business versus in the business. And a
Does
lot
it
of
have,
times,
I'm sorry, go ahead, finish. I'm
a
sorry.
lot of times they find themselves in the weeds being the chief operational officer instead of being the chief executive officer. So they also need to look at their roles in the business as well.
Okay.
So a lot of times when people start a business, they're visionary. They've got this big idea that they want to do,
Mhm.
but to implement that business idea and make it work, they need to be an integrator too. Well, a lot of visionaries are terrible integrators. So sometimes it's a really good idea if your business is big enough to see if you can find an integrator partner who is your COO, who takes your vision and goes and makes it happen.
So
And
what do you mean by finding the integrator?
so this would be a person who can take the owner's vision, and maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a general manager or a chief operating officer that leads all the teams in the company, and they all report to that person, and that person is responsible for actually making sure the vision gets implemented across
Okay,
different
fantastic. Right. Yes, that makes
silos.
sense. Right.
All right. And then another really key thing is the strategic planning. A lot of small business owners fail to do strategic planning.
Mhm.
And you need to at least have a target for where you're going. I would say at least 3 years out, and revisit it every year to make sure you're on target, or see if you need to shift some of that strategic plan and then take it out another year each year,
Okay.
so that with your vision and your strategic plan, now you know exactly where you want to take the business and what your priorities are to work on in that business.
Now, are there some maybe some key strategic like um, points that could be included into that strategic planning that you would suggest?
Yeah, it's actually looking at some of the things that we've just discussed: the vision, mission, and values, the
Okay.
also the culture that you want to have in the
Oh, okay.
business,
Okay.
what your financial goals are for 3 years out, and then what you have to do in each of the previous years to get to that 3 year financial goal. So you set financial goals in your strategic planning, and from those you
Perfect.
set objectives,
Oh,
and
that's
then
perfect.
from
Yeah.
those you set daily goals, and it cascades down through the organization. And so at the high levels, they're very brief, but the lower you go in the organization, the more detailed those priorities and objectives get,
Exactly.
because now you're talking about how are we going to make
I
this happen.
like that. Yes, I like that. Perfect.
So culture is also very, very important. Every business has a culture, whether it's on purpose or not.
Hmm.
So, and a lot of times, if it's not on purpose, that culture can not be the best culture. You know, I've worked with businesses and I've worked in organizations that have a very toxic culture because they haven't created a culture on purpose.
So true.
So the culture comes from your vision, your mission, your values, how you treat your employees, what the employee experience is in your company, and what kind of things that you do to have high employee engagement. A lot of people think that you have to put your customers first. The key is to put your people first, because if you take care of your people, they will take
They will
care of
take
this.
care of you. Yeah, that's right. That is so true. That is so true. And when people understand that, it does give a whole different dynamic to your
Yes,
business. Yeah, when they
it really
understand
does.
that. Hmm.
And I've seen some businesses that do a really, really good job of this, and their employees are so loyal and they will go above and beyond. The Gallup organization has been conducting employee engagement surveys for over 20 years. They
Mm.
have all kinds of information on this. In the US, in their last report, only 33% of employees are engaged. Those are your rock stars.
That is so true.
Those are the people that are innovative and creative, and they're going above and beyond because they love the company and they love working there and they love what they're doing. And then the rest of your employees are either disengaged or actively disengaged.
Absolutely.
And those
I love how you just said that.
yeah, those actively disengaged employees are actually sabotaging what your engaged employees are doing. So employee engagement is hugely important.
Very good. That was so good. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So then the next step. So those are the kinds of things that are really important for a business owner to look at as far as what their company looks like and how it operates along those kinds of things. And so it's really important to get those things right. The rest are some of these pillars that are really more operational. And so you have to get these right too. And this is where you want to put systems and processes in the business. So basically the idea is to create somewhat of an operations manual. So if as a business owner, you wanted to franchise your business, you could take this operations manual and go, here you go, to the new franchisee, and they would know exactly how to run that franchise. Whether you're going to franchise or not, that's the mindset that you want to have. So you want to put systems and processes in around HR, marketing, sales, customer service, finances, profitability. We got to look at your systems and processes, and you also have to look at work-life balance for both you and your employees, because as you said in my introduction, if you don't have these things in place, you're not running a business, you own a job. Your business is running you.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of people are going through that, Cathys, because they don't know about these 12 pillars. They have no idea, you know.
Right.
And it's so important to be structured in this way, you know.
It is. So I think for now, some of the key things to be looking at in our current situation and going forward are what am I doing on my marketing? Is the marketing that I've been doing working? How well is it working? If it is there something that I could be doing differently? If you go back and look at that business model, I think owners could go back and look at what their business was before all this started, and then look at what they were doing to get leads and to market and to get sales and what they were doing in their customer service and those kinds of things, and see what can I put in place to try to get at least just a 10% increase from those levels where I was.
Great. Now, what about when it comes to the marketing of thinking of ways to do free marketing?
Well, what we're doing right here is actually one of the best things that you can do. Video is the wave of the future. And I think especially right now, it is important to be reaching out and touching your clients, touching your customers, letting them know we're here for you. Here's how we can help you. We care about you. We understand things are not good right now. Even if you're not going to buy something from us, if we can support you or there's something that we can do to help you right now, let us know.
Beautiful. Love it.
You know, I know of a company that they had a customer that had ordered some equipment and the equipment hadn't quite come in yet. And because they really valued their customers and took good care of them, they just loaned them a piece of equipment until the new equipment came in.
And that's the way to go. I mean, especially if you have that kind of, you know, those credentials or credibility, I should say, already, you should, you know, try to put some kind of trust in that to say, hey, let me give you this so you won't be without.
And that drives loyalty in your customers. And when you have really happy, satisfied customers, they're going to refer more business to you.
Absolutely. And
So
that's what we need. And that's marketing.
exactly.
That's part of the marketing too, you know. Now
Right.
referrals. Now you're getting referrals. So it's very important to have that kind of customer service so that way it can kind of flow in that natural way. You don't have to really worry or think about it. And now it's lessening the amount of money that you're putting out in marketing. So that was great, 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 great. Thank you.
Well, thank you. There are a couple of other things that small business owners can do that are free or inexpensive right now. So getting out and doing videos like this and sharing what's going on in their companies, and or just sharing tips like I'm doing today to help their customers be more successful.
Mhm.
I was coaching with a friend of mine the other day who is in sales, and people are having this attitude right now like they shouldn't be selling because everybody's in such dire straits. But
No, I think that's a bad way of thinking about it. It's not, they
yeah,
shouldn't be thinking that way.
well, I would agree with you, Renee, but I think those people who are conscientious and care about their clients and those kinds of things feel like they don't want to impose on them right now because they're dealing with their own battles in their companies. But, one of the things that she sells is cloud computing.
Hmm.
Well, in our current situation, guess what lots of businesses need? They need a way for their employees to work from home.
Right, and that's true, and that's what I was saying. That was my why I have my answers, because there's so many ways that we don't realize that we aren't aware of the ways that are available to us unless it's brought
Right.
to our attention. So I think sales could be very important right now, because you kind of feel like you're without in a way, and if you come and
Mhm.
present something that maybe wasn't needed before, it could be needed now, to keep
Right.
things flowing and keep things afloat and things like that.
Absolutely. I was on a conference call that Network in Action did last week on Friday. And one of the things that they are doing for our group members and for the business community in general is we're doing a Network in Action daily dose where
Mhm.
we have a different speaker every day on a different topic for the rest of this week and next week. And it was on sales last week and mindset during this time.
Mhm.
And the woman that did the training is a terrific sales trainer. She got a referral from a client on Monday, called the business owner on Tuesday, thinking maybe he'd want her to do it this week. She did it on Thursday and got paid on Thursday.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. You see,
Yeah,
you can't be afraid. It is the mindset.
it's a mindset. And
Yeah.
he wanted her to do that training last week
Okay. Okay.
because of the situation that we are in today with
Absolutely.
not being able to work in our businesses like we're used to. So I think shifting your mindset too, and wrapping your head around this is not a bad time to be selling. People may need what you have because of what we're doing right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
It's going to be kind of the flip side, like
yeah,
it's still a numbers game, but it's going to be kind of flipped in a way that it's like, I didn't need that before, but I need that now. So it's still a numbers game, but it's just kind of flipped. And you probably wouldn't know what those numbers are going to look like until you get out there and actually do it. So it makes a lot of sense. And that was a great, great point to bring up. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate you bringing up that.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, great. Well, I think also we need to be creative. And when we're selling during this time, I think it is important to be conscious and conscientious of what people are going through.
Hmm.
Another thing that business owners can do is offer some discounts
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
be- because of
Oh,
what's
going
happening
on.
right now,
Yes.
or
Absolutely.
create deferred payments or create payment plans so they can still serve their customers. And I think that's the mindset to have is how can I serve my customers?
Okay.
How can I serve my clients? And It may not be the best financial thing for me at this moment, but it's going
Right.
to be eventually, and it's going to lead to loyalty and
Mhm.
referrals
Yeah.
down the
Making
road. And
smart
so I think
moves, being creative. Yeah.
we need a longer term mindset, because I think what's going to happen with the business situation is that once this is all over, dealing with the coronavirus, there's going to be a business boom again.
Hmm.
And everybody's going stir crazy. Everybody's getting cabin fever. Everybody's not doing what they're used to doing in their businesses. And so I think those of us that have something to offer to support other businesses, especially, but also to support individuals, we are going to see an influx of people coming to say, I need your help. And so I think having that forward thinking mindset and thinking about what can I be doing today to
Good.
get the business set up for when that happens in a
Yes.
couple of months.
Yes. Brilliant. Love it.
Right.
Now,
Right.
are
And
we on the
so,
customer service aspect here? Are we
yeah,
good?
so, customer service, that's part of it, is how can I serve my customers? And that kind of runs together with sales. You always want to under promise and over deliver in your customer service, and you need to have systems and processes in place for the people in your company who are dealing with your customers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then finances, some business owners don't really understand their finances.
I
It,
know you telling me. Yes. Right.
so,
Okay. That's one of the biggest problems.
yeah, you really need to understand your finances, and you need to understand what's going into each of the elements, what your costs are, that sort of thing, so you can manage your profitability, so you can manage your cash flow.
Mhm.
And then you've got to look at all of these different arenas and make sure you put the right systems and processes in place. And a lot of people who start businesses love, love, love what they do. And so they tend to work a lot, even if the business doesn't require it. But they're better leaders, they're better business owners, they're better in their families if they put some boundaries on that and create some work life balance, both for themselves and for their teams.
There you go. Yeah.
So these
Yeah.
are the key things to look at if you
Yeah.
want to make a difference in how efficiently and productively and profitably the business is running. And another key piece of finances and profitability is cash flow. There are a lot of businesses out there that are making lots of money, but it's invested in equipment or some kind of overhead or
Overhead,
inventory,
employees, right?
and
Just a lot marketing,
they're
marketing,
cash poor.
utilities,
Right,
so many things.
right.
Right, you're making a lot of money, but it's a lot that's going out. And
Yeah.
many people think, oh, they must be making a lot of money, when really in reality it's not. It's not, they're not making as much as you think, just because you see that it may be busy on one
Mhm.
day. But really in reality, when those bills pop up, this is a whole different situation that they have to deal with on their end. And when it's time to pay themselves.
That's true. And that's one of the things that they struggle with a lot, is having a consistent income because of the cash flow issue, or not getting enough clients or new leads, or converting enough of those new leads, or having a high enough dollar sale, and some of those things that if you increase 10% in each arena, you can get a huge increase in net profit.
Mhm.
So it's important right now that business owners look at what they're doing around their cash flow.
Okay.
And I have a couple of ideas around that too. So um,
Share.
gonna go ahead and share a little bit more.
Nice, very nice.
So here's something that we can do, not looking at what's working right now in this time where businesses are somewhat crippled, but going back to before we were in pretty much of a lockdown. Look at what works best for you as far as bringing in business, bringing in leads, converting leads. What's worked best for you in the past? Look at the value of your past clients. Go back and talk to your past clients. it's much less expensive to sell to former clients than it is to get new clients, because they already know, like, and trust you. They've already done business with you, and you've done something great for them, whether you sold them a service or a dress or a piece of equipment, or you catered an event for them, whatever your business is. Go back and talk to your past clients and see if they may have a need for you right now or sometime in the near future. So going back and looking at what worked for you in the past, was there a product or a service that you had in the past that maybe you're not doing right now?
Right. That's
You
right.
could revive, and that could help you increase your cash flow. And so you want to assess how to generate immediate cash flow. Do you have some excess inventory that you might be able to sell? Maybe you sell it at a discount and you have a big warehouse sale or something like that. But if you can do that, you've got an instant influx of cash coming into the business. And you can also, like, for example, for me, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm discounting my prices for people who want to coach and consult with me because of what's going on in the world. And I still want to be able to help business owners. And I'm going to be offering payment plans and things like that.
Hint, hint.
So,
Right.
so they can get the help that they need.
Yeah,
Even though
absolutely.
they
That's
don't have
great.
a lot coming in. And then the other thing
It's
is,
a good time to do it. They have time on their hands too, and they get a discount. So that's
yeah,
like a great benefit. I mean, it's advantage, definitely a great advantage for them to
yeah.
contact you now too.
Well, yeah, I can certainly help them with looking at all of these things and looking at, where we need to start first.
Yes.
Because once we get that report card on that business effectiveness evaluation, then we assess together. I kind of become a silent partner with my clients, and we assess together what needs to be attacked first and start working on that. And the final thing that they can do to increase cash flow is look at your pricing strategy. When's the last time you raised your prices? And right now, right this moment, with what's going on in the world, may not be the time to increase prices.
Right. Okay.
But as we come out of this, I think it's a good idea for business owners to look at their pricing strategies. Or is there something that we can add on or do in a different way, or a tweak to a product or a service that gives us a new direction where we can sell and maybe sell at a premium, something that's a value add to our customers.
That's right. No, absolutely. Just like toilet paper, they're raising toilet paper up.
Yeah.
$14. So it's like, okay, so this is what we have to do. This is our pricing strategy.
Right.
So I'm just joking, but I totally understand.
Yeah. So those are some of the tips that I have. Another thing that I recommend is, while you have time right now as business owners, start looking for how you can network more. Right. Because people who get referred business, 76% of that business closes. On average, versus going out and get cold leads and going out and you can go to networking events, but a lot of times that's better for building relationships than it is for selling. It's very rare when you go out networking, you're going to meet somebody, shake their hand, tell them what you do, and they're going to go, oh, I need to hire you.
Right, but right now it isn't really a great time to do the networking, because a lot of these events, they're closing down and things like that. And I think in this time it's probably more difficult to go to a networking event because of shaking hands and social distancing and all that kind of stuff. So, like, what other ways would it be to network? Would it be to maybe just go on LinkedIn? Just
absolutely
start to do something like that.
Connecting with potential prospects and connections on LinkedIn. So connections that may not be clients for you, but who can refer you business.
Absolutely.
And start building relationships with them and creating a reciprocal referral type relationship with them.
critical. Absolutely.
And then also what the networking groups are doing, what we're doing at NIA is we are having Zoom meetings
There
for
you
our
go.
meetings.
Yes,
And
brilliant.
so you can still network. And
There
I
you
would
go.
say start looking for networking organizations that you can join, like Network in Action, that we are still meeting every month. We're having a virtual happy hour on Thursday for everybody in the organization
Okay. Creative. I
through
like it.
Zoom, so we can stay connected. So, and people in our groups are still getting referrals. We've got new members joining all the time because our philosophy is that it's about building relationships
Yeah.
and that we're there to help each other be successful. And so we're still giving referrals. So if you can get into a group like that, some kind of referral group that is meeting online right now through Zoom meetings, that's a great way to start kickstarting your networking now. So
Yeah.
when things open up, you've already started
Right. You're
building this
already
relationship.
prepared. Yes. I love it. Yes. And are we done with the increasing cash flow
We
slide?
are.
Okay.
So I want to make an offer to your audience. I usually charge $500 for the business effectiveness evaluation that I do, but if anybody is interested in getting that and having that evaluation of your business, given what's going on, because my mission is to help business owners transform their businesses and their lives, I'm going to be offering it to your audience for free because they were here today.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
these are Quantum Leap Success Coach is my website. And if you go there, you can see there are apply buttons throughout the site. There's also a contact me page. If you will go in and fill that out and put in the comments that you want to get the free business effectiveness evaluation, I will be happy to send that to you. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, there, my Quantum Leap Success Coaching is my Facebook page. And then also, if you're interested in learning more about Network in Action Business Force, or to find out if there is a Network in Action group in your area, or even to do some online networking, I'd be happy to help your audience with that too. So please feel free to follow me and let me know if you'd like that business effectiveness evaluation.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. That was so much that you shared. Like unbelievable. So
well, I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it because what's going on in our economy is so scary to every business owner out there because they're really wondering, am I going to have a business when this is all over?
Yeah.
So if I can do something to help, I'm happy to do that. So do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
Well, yeah, let's see if we do have any questions. Let me just pull up my page and see if we have any questions listed here for you, Cathie. Let's see. Or if anyone has any questions now, they can just type it in before we wrap it up for tonight. Let's see. So, yeah, actually, well, we just have one. I guess David left a comment. I don't know if it's a question or not, but let me just see first what it says. But he does believe in your work-life balance. He says that work-life balance is like impossible when you start business. And when he started his companies, I guess way back in the 90s, he was only sleeping 3 to 4 hours before business picked up. And of course, when the year of 2000 happened, meltdown killed his business. And now the virus, he said, is killing many businesses all over the world.
Yes, it is. And that's probably the least important pillar at the moment. You know, and I was like him too. When I first started my business in 2004, I literally, if I was awake, I was working. And, you know, I'd work late at night and then I'd get up early in the morning because that's what you do when you first start a business, especially when you are the business. So he's got a very, very good point there.
Yeah, because you're so focused, you're so determined to make it a success. And those things are required, to get up
Right.
early and do and be in the structure. Like that was one of the things that we talked about is, having that structure.
Mhm.
So doing the things that, is needed in that way is like waking up early so you can take care of a lot more than waking up later, and 3 to 4 hours
Right.
of sleep may not be the ideal amount of sleep that we want, but it's, it definitely is a sacrifice. And as long as you get that later on, like, okay, I'm where I need to be, kind of, like take a step back, and start to have your work-life balance, because all of us want to have a life, and all of us want to enjoy the luxuries and beauty and abundance that life can provide. When
Right.
we work hard, we want to play hard.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yes,
Accomplishing some good in the world and enjoying fruits of our labor.
absolutely. And was there anything else that you wanted to share with the audience, Cathys, or was that it?
That's pretty much what I wanted to share tonight. I think that that's a lot for people to take in and to consider some of the steps that they need to be taking to try to survive what's going on as best we can. It's really a sad situation what's going on. There's an organization here in Houston that we have a major radio host that owns this business, and it's an entertainment video, an entertainment venue.
Uh-huh.
And I just got an email from the venue today that they're closing.
Wow. Like just
They're,
permanently?
they're done. This
So
has
that was
destroyed
the
their
last,
business.
that's all that was needed to get the, and that's a lot of people.
And that's
That's
the
not
reality right now.
reality. Yep.
And so my wish for all the small business owners out there is that they can find some way to keep that from happening to them and get through this,
Yeah.
at least surviving to the point so that when this is over, they can go forward and continue to have a business and a livelihood.
And I would say if they have that $500, the evaluation right now would be probably more beneficial to them rather than later, taking advantage of what you're offering to go over these 12 pillars and to get the, just that whole report so that you can go over that with them so they can start taking action. But being proactive is probably the most important thing that they can do right
Right.
now.
Right. And remember, I'm not charging 500 for it. They're going to
Oh,
get
not 500. Yes, correct.
it. They're going to get it for free. So
Oh, for free. So that's right. So let's just put that out there. It is free. So yeah, you guys would definitely benefit from that. So please contact Cathys. As I mentioned, she's worked with a lot of, big companies such as Siemens and BP and Sears, and the Reliant Energy and all these other great companies. So she definitely has the expertise, and she can give you the right advice to lead you in the right direction. So thank you again for being on the show, Cathys. I really appreciate everything. You were so thorough, and I really,
thank you.
really appreciate you for that.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed being here and I hope it helps.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to leave off just saying, if anyone wants to be on the Renee Adams Show, if you have a product or service that you would like to promote, or if you have an inspirational story that you want to share, you can get in contact with me through Facebook. If you're on Instagram, I believe my email is on here as well. So if you're on Instagram, you can click on email me, and we can chat and bring you onto the show if you're a great fit. I'm pretty sure most of you are. So get in contact with me. And thank you all for joining us tonight on the Renee Adams Show. And I'll see you guys Thursday.
Thanks, Renee. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.